Hey, I'm Bobby Williams here with COOLfeed. I'm here interviewing Mr. Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dreyfuss, for being here.
Thank you.
What we are dealing with here is a perfect engine, an eating machine.
I didn't prepare anything.
Me and my classmates has prepared some questions that we want to ask you. Who gave you your first opportunity to be an actor?
A guy by the name of Ron Miller. He cast me in my first play when I was 9. And he's the only guy in my life who ever said, be a plumber. He said, don't do this, be a plumber. The only guy.
What advice can you give me and some of my classmates that want to be actors?
If you want to be an actor, you have 1,000 opportunities almost anywhere in the country. In regional, in Shakespeare, in local rep, you get to be an actor. And everyone wants to be a star or thinks they want, but do you really want it, or do you want to be an actor? And whatever you decide, here's what you got to do. You spend every second you are awake acting. You do a scene, you go to a class, whatever. If you can't find someone to do a scene with, take a play or a book or a speech, go into the bathroom, lock the door, look into the mirror, and do the speech. And look at your face and play with that material in the bathroom until your mother says, get out of the bathroom. And I mean, if there's an acting class in town, join it. If there's an improv class in town, join it. You've got to see in human behavior your take. I would do that. And I would say the same thing to anyone who wanted to be in the film business. There's something weird about it. And once you get in, even as a lighting guy or a sound mixer, you never want to leave. It's the most collaborative art form on earth. A director can't make a film without all these other people. If you're an actor or a writer or a film director or a production designer, it's the same basic advice. You better spend every minute doing it or studying it or looking at movies. You know, there's a curse on you guys because you never look back at the old films. Everyone just dismisses them now as black and whites. If you want to see great dialogue and great stories, you got to look at the old movies. Now, it's stuck in a loop. They're making sequel after sequel after sequel after sequel. And no one is coming up with a new idea, a great story. It's your generation that's going to get out of it. You're going to be the ones that come up with something that's better than the third sequel to the mechanical monster who lives in the deep ocean.
I got a question in particular. Have you ever worked in New Orleans, and what do you like about New Orleans, to be exact?
I worked in New Orleans a month and a half ago in Cuba Gooding's first feature directing film called Louisiana Caviar, which was a really dark movie. And I played the leader of a Russian gang who fed humans to alligators. That's what I played. It's really dark. And I like New Orleans. It's hard for me to get used to the weather. In California, in San Diego, there's no weather. It's just perfect all the time. It's weird.
What was your favorite role you ever played?
I can only answer that by saying all of them but 2 or 3. And I would never tell you which ones they were. But I can say a film called Let It Ride, which I made in the 80s, which if you've seen, you shouldn't have, because it's about degenerate gamblers, and it's hysterically funny. Mr. Holland is something I'm really proud of. And The Goodbye Girl.
Want to hear the reviews Elliot Garfield brings to Kowalski dimensions that even Brando had not investigated?
Terrific! You write beautifully. Aren't you a little short to play Stanley?
Nobody noticed I stood on the poker table. What are you, a critic?
You gotta see it to believe it.
I understand you're making a movie now down here in New Orleans called Last Laugh. Can you give us more intake on it?
The Last Laugh is about a guy who's an agent who is forced into retirement. He has no clients, he's old. And he meets his first client, who had been a comic in the 60s, and he left show business. And he's been a podiatrist for 50 years. And the agent talks him into coming back and trying it again. And it's about those two guys rediscovering different things about themselves and their lives. And this guy goes and does stand-up comedy after 50 years. And it's funny, and it's moving, and I had never done stand-up comedy, which is considered the single most frightening thing anyone can do in show business. I've made people laugh. I've made people laugh in the theater, but I'd never stood up alone with nobody there but you and made people laugh. So the director said to me, why don't you go to the Improv and fail? And I said, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And I ain't gonna purposely fail. And I went, and I did it. And I killed it. I've done it in your comedy clubs, and I laid them out. And it's so much fun, I think I'm gonna have a second career.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
It's been me, Bobby Williams, with Academy Award winner Richard Dreyfuss on the set of The Last Laugh. Signing off. Peace.